I am excited to talk to my ladies primarily. And guys, if you want to be here with me, hang out. I want to welcome you into my space, my world, my thoughts, and I want to share them with you. And I hope that it inspires someone. It brings about some transformation.
Good evening, and welcome to the Transparency Place. It is me, Life Coach Christian, and this week I am excited because I get to talk to another entrepreneur and talk about the honest truth, the conversations most people are not having. A lot of people are pushing people towards entrepreneurship, but they're not really preparing us. And I'm going to be honest, I struggled this week as I'm in the process of redefining my business, and I had to call my brother, because I felt like he knew where I was coming from. So I was like, you know what, let's take this conversation to the people. Let's talk more about it, because I think it's a lot of things that happen in entrepreneurship that they're really not telling us. And then we get in these places and we think that we're by ourselves. So tonight we're here to tell you you're not alone. These are common struggles. We're going to share our struggles. We're going to talk about our brands and just give our honest truth, because let's be real, entrepreneurship is not easy. So I'm going to have my brother hop up on the camera. Come on, my mans. What's up?
Yo, what up?
Who are you?
My name is Torrean. A lot of people call me Mr. Ego. I've been going by that for quite some time now. I am the owner and CEO of the Ego brand.
Awesome. If you all don't know, I am the owner of Let's Work Coaching, and I'm in the process of redefining my business that I started in 2017. And it just hasn't been easy for me going through this process. So I called my brother this week like, hey, talk me out of my business trauma.
Right.
I got business trauma.
Yeah. We all do. Trust
me. Let me share my nakedness in the business trauma. I guess I started LLC, but I didn't know I had to renew my LLC every year. Did you know that?
Absolutely. Well, not at first.
How did you learn that?
Like I said, because of really just self-research. I tell a lot of people that Google is Google is a lifesaver. And I just feel like sometimes, people are even too afraid to even take that step of just doing a Google search. So, that's how I learned. I wasn't like that. I didn't know that you had to renew it but again, like I said, because of conversations like this that need to be had more often.
So that was, honestly, it was a shocking to me. And when I first got that letter about renewing your business and my business wasn't making me any money, I was like, I'd rather just use my skill set. I'm not about to pay these people for a business, because right now I don't feel like I got one. That's just how I felt.
Yeah.
I'm not. So now it's 3 years later, and I just renewed my business. Caught it all up. It's 20.
That's what I'm talking about.
We in 2021. Yep, I did it. I took care of that. I ain't got no business.
That's what I'm talking about.
But no, and it wasn't that I wasn't coaching as much as I should have. I was doing like little coaching jobs. But my business, for my listeners who don't know, I am a life coach. I'm a certified life coach. So I advise people or support people in clarifying their goals and creating their vision and getting in alignment to live that vision. So bringing forth the fruit in your life pretty much is what I do. Tell us, Torrean, tell us about your brand.
The Ego brand, actually an acronym is spelled EIGO. My sister is wearing it. I see you. And it means exceeding impossible goals and obstacles. So, the Ego brand has been around for about 7 years. Kind of have the resume. We've done New York Fashion Week twice. And another thing that I did not learn in business was that sometimes you have to start over. So then, I did research. I saw Nike and I saw Walmart and I saw other people who are like these billion-dollar, trillion-dollar companies, and they were rebranding. They were changing their logos. They were, what I'm saying? So I was like, if these billion-dollar companies know they have to rebrand to move on with the culture, then sometimes, that's where I got the creativity of going back to the drawing board and rebranding. So right now, so I've rebranded into a faith-based culture. I bring a faith-based culture to the brand. Just speaking on exceeding impossible goals and obstacles, it takes faith to do that. But I want to do it in a cool fashion and not so, sometimes you don't have to be, I'm a religious person, but you don't have to be all spooky all the time. So I want to bring that faith-based culture and that faith-based principle to the everyday person that may not go to church every day. So that may not be, you know what I'm saying, super, super spiritual and spooky, you know, yeah, that's just my brand.
So why did you choose entrepreneurship?
I chose entrepreneurship based on my background. It was geared a lot in my background as far as just coming up in the culture and poverty, for lack of better words. It's, you know, I grew up with nothing. I grew up on the east side of Detroit, 7 Mile and Van Dyke. And, you know, I didn't have the fresh cools, kicks, and, you know, I didn't have the fresh clothes. I got teased a lot in school. So, you know, I always had in my mind, even as a little kid, I was just like, man, I'm gonna make my own clothes one day, and I'm gonna make them with a meaning that's not demeaning to other people. Because I feel like the fashion culture has kind of moved from what it was, you know, originally created for. Fashion was created for independency and individuality. That's why that's where fashion comes from. And I feel like now it's more so a status thing. And the part that I don't like about that is sometimes, you know, you get you know, you call out a brand or you wear a brand, you know, a lot of people in the culture, Instagram, social media, it's kind of like, you know, I'm wearing this, you know what I'm saying? You can't afford this. I'm better than you. That's really the culture of fashion right now. So that's where ego comes in, saying, hey, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about who's better than who. We're talking about, what are you going to do in your life? Are you going to exceed impossible goals or obstacles, or are you not? It's really that simple. So, you know, I just trying to change the culture up.
So beating the odds and changing the culture was really what going into entrepreneurship was about. So for me, I didn't choose entrepreneurship. This wasn't what I had in my mind.
Yeah.
Y'all probably listen to this like, she don't choose nothing. No, because I let life flow. A lot of you probably like, if I was her, she chooses nothing. But what happened is I started working from home. And as I started working from home, I'm like, I can't go back into nobody's office. This flexibility is freaking amazing. I can't do it. So then I started my life coaching program. And in the life coaching program, they tell you how to build a business. So like you go through and you write a business plan. But of course, I'm in this program with people who are all across the nation. So like we're all across the nation. So every state has a different business protocol. So they can't tell you the little nicks and crannies and stuff. So that's how I didn't know, like, even though I'm filing for an LLC, I have to renew this LLC every year. Or like there's a certain amount of money my business has to make for a year for me to even file taxes on it. There's a certain form for me to file taxes on it, right?
Yeah.
And then in doing so, like, I don't know any of this. I'm getting hit with this. I got discouraged.
Of course.
I got discouraged. I'm tired. It's too much paperwork to be successful.
Of course.
Let's be honest. It's too much paperwork to be successful.
It's intimidating.
This was in the beginning. So now I'm here. Well, we about 4 years later, and I'm like, I'm ready to do the paperwork because it's no way it's gonna grow. I think my mindset shifted, and like you said, Google has become my best friend. I've started to learn and research. So, do you ever have those moments when you are just like discouraged or like you had to tap out? Like for me, I end up saying like, I'm just not going to do this right now for 3 years.
No, I did tap out. I did tap out, man. It's a crazy story. Yeah, I was done. I was done with ego. It wasn't moving how I wanted to move. It wasn't moving how God showed me it was supposed to move. It just wasn't. And we all get that. It's going, the tough times, it's natural. And I feel like if you haven't, I don't think I could ask any business owner, have they actually never been discouraged before? I don't think I can ask anybody that and they say no. I think that if your vision is that big, sometimes it's gonna scare you, and you're gonna get frustrated, and you're frustrated and want to quit, not because you really want to quit. You're frustrated, you want to quit because of how passionate you are about seeing how you saw it.
Yeah,
that's really why you want to quit. That's really the real reason behind quitting. You know what, like, really got me though? I was having a conversation with my wife, and we were chopping it up about the future, and we kind of bumped heads. And what got me and what like put that fire back immediately was like, we was talking, we kind of got into it, and she, out of nowhere, she just looked me straight in my face and was like, you don't want this. So let's revisit this conversation when you're ready. Man, when I tell you, I was so mad. But she was right. You know, like she was bona fide right. And I thought about it, I was just like, man, like this is all I wanted. You know what I'm saying? I know the vision. I'm the only one who can see my vision. She right. And you know, that was my goal, like go and done and never stop again. But yeah, of course, I've had a many of discouraging moments, for sure.
So what does go look like? What does that mean for you and your business?
Go to me and my business, it looks like learning how to move past the failures. Okay. That's my goal. Like, because I know that this is not going to be the first. It's not going to be the last time that I fail. It's not going to be the last time that I missed. I dropped the ball on something as far as business is concerned. But just learning how to move past those failures instead of quitting, instead of allowing discouragement to get you to a point of you doubting yourself now. So now you letting your thoughts play in your mind, and just working through those failures and keeping it pushing and really getting that tough skin. Entrepreneurship, like we talked about the other day, entrepreneurship is not for the weak.
I drop out every day.
It's not for the weak. It's not at all.
I drop out every day. And my struggle is the thoughts. But then it's also like, I'm at a point in my life, like if I don't do it, I'm never going to know. And I'm going to sit here and keep wondering. So now I'm like, I just got to try it. And if I fail, okay, I tried. I did that part. I learned from it. I got to go. It does not, I don't feel like it determines my business. But it's also, I'm a person who really believes in my peace and getting my sleep and stuff like that. But I'm at the point now where I'm up. I'm up because I'm trying to figure out how do I do this? How do I grow this thing? Like, what's next? How do I keep the momentum of what I'm building right now?
Yep.
Like, so, and so then it's like, for me, I realized this week, like it's important because of the way that the mind is set up to have people around you, or even to be able to speak to yourself in a positive light to keep yourself going. Like yesterday, I just drove. I just wanted to silence my mind. I just kept driving. I pulled up to my house, and as soon as I got to my house, I got a headache. I reversed out and just started driving again because
sometimes you gotta drive.
My mind wouldn't stop, but it's the place that I'm in. So that's what I mean. This is a conversation people are not having. Like, it's a lot, but I do see the value in the work that I'm putting in. Like, more things are happening. More things are in position, but I think I'm also so exhausted with so many things happening and trying to keep it up and growing.
Yeah.
That I'm like, Lord, why? But I also know that this was something I was called to do and created to do, and that I have to do, right? Yeah.
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 But it may not look like it right. It may not look like you saw it right immediately though.
So coming into entrepreneurship, what did you really expect? Did you expect for it to be these emotions or this roller coaster?
Oh man, nah. I'll tell you what I expected. I expected to make code designs, put them out, and I'm gonna get on. That's the honest to God truth. I expected these designs fire. I know when I put them out, they gonna go, and we gonna go. That was my first mindset.
And what was the reality? What happened?
I got humbled quickly.
So what happened?
Very quickly. So it didn't go that way. It didn't go that way at all. No, man. I didn't. I put it out. Nobody bought nothing. Yep. I put out another design. After that, nobody bought anything. It wasn't until I didn't really sell anything until I was maybe a year and a half, 2 years in. So I was just doing these designs and I was getting great feedback on social media, but nobody was clicking that checkout button. Nobody was purchasing anything. And then that's when it hit me like, okay, this isn't as easy as I thought it was gonna be. And sometimes I have to remind myself, because another one of my struggles in the past was I had the struggle of comparison. So I would, scrolling on Instagram, my thumb get to scrolling, I start to see people's highlight reels, which is that's the only thing that people put on social media anyway. And I start comparing myself. I start, if they do it, I could do it. Or if they did it this way, I'm gonna do it this way. Or or sometimes I'll, on my weak points, if I could be truly transparent, is sometimes I would get envious. So I would look at and compare, and then I start sounding like a hater, to be really honest with you. And I had to check myself about that and realize that everybody's lane is not the same. So what my first expectation of entrepreneurship, it was completely wrong. And I learned that now. But like I said, that's going back to a lot, even with comparison and having that insecurity of looking at somebody else and trying and letting envy creep up. That still goes back to fear at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So like, again, going back to what I was saying, it was just, my biggest thing was just learning how to move past the fear.
The mind. It's the mind. It's the mind. Like, you have to make up in your mind that I'm going to get committed to this. When I first started my business, I wasn't committed to this. I'm like you. I got this certification. Okay, I'm about to build me some clientele. People are going to be wanting to talk to me. I'm going to be great. I'm going to make all this beautiful stuff happen in people's life. And I'm a service provider. I'm not a brand provider. So most people want what they can hold in their hands, right? You want something tangible. So my business is not as easy to market as a clothing line is, because I am what you're getting. You're getting me to partner with you along this journey. So I'm working with clients. I'm not going to sit here and say that didn't happen. Yeah, we're excelling. We're having great conversations, but I'm not seeing the results in these people's lives.
Gotcha.
So for me, that made me feel like a failing coach.
Gotcha.
But reality is, it's not that I don't have the skill set or I'm not able to coach you in the direction. Everyone is coachable when they are ready to be coachable. So it wasn't me. It was more so like, and I tell my clients even now in the discovery session, like, if you're not ready to do this, you're wasting both of our times. So I think that's something I had to learn in entrepreneurship, because your actions were starting to affect me and then make me question my abilities.
Gotcha.
Because now I can't sit here and say I just coached a 6-figure person, because you won't push the buttons to become a 6-figure person. You won't do the action. So now I don't have results to continue to promote or market my business.
That makes a lot of sense.
So for me, but that was my business trauma, because now I'm over here like, I suck. At first glance, I'm sitting here like I suck. Like that's really how I felt. I'm in a corner. That's why I'm like, I'm not renewing no LLC. I'm not giving nobody no money, because this is not working the way that it's supposed to work. This is not what they taught me in that class.
It's not what they did not tell. They didn't tell me anything in that class like this.
That's not what the outline said.
I went to school for this, and they didn't tell me this part.
What? I got a degree and a certification and good skills.
They didn't tell me that. None of this.
No, they didn't tell me that. So now I'm in the redefining point, and now I understand. No, I have to have a certain client, and I'm serious. If you're not ready, let's not waste each other's time, because you're affecting me mentally. You're affecting my brand mentally, because you're not producing what I need you to produce in order for both of us to grow.
No, that's understandable. Yeah.
That is the service that I provide. And my business is based on absolutely nothing works unless you work at it. So if you're not willing to work, then we really don't need to have a conversation. But most people come in and say, I'm ready to work. But then you're not doing what you need to do. Now, one thing I can say, I have a lot of amazing clients from the past. Yeah, we outlined this stuff. It's now 2-3 years later, and they like, you told me to do this. I'm finally doing it, and I see the difference. Yeah. So it could be a longevity piece for me, but at that time, I'm a year in.
All right. Yeah, that's how it be.
You to be great in life.
Yeah.
Right now, you messing with me, bro, because you in that same pattern.
Yep. You still here. Nothing's changed. Yep.
Nothing has changed. So that affected me, that frustrated me, and that made me stop. It made me stop because I didn't feel like I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. So
what made you, so when you realized that it wasn't you and it was more so learning the client and understanding that they're not ready, is that what kind of pushed you back into it?
I never stopped. Now that's one thing I never fully just said I quit.
Gotcha.
Like if someone approached me and wanted coaching services, I'm gonna do it. I just didn't take it on full-time heavy website. I pulled my website down, deleted everything.
Wow.
So the only way you knew that I was available to coach was because you've seen it somewhere or somebody referred you to me. So when you got to that point, then we had that conversation and we did what we needed to do. But I put everything, I mean, mind you, I worked really hard on building all of that stuff, but I felt like it wasn't working. So why do I have it all?
Yeah, I pulled my website too. I took my whole website down. Yeah.
Why did I have it all? So what made me get back fully into it or more focused on it? Mm-hmm. Honestly, doing the podcast. The podcast lit a fire in me. It reminded me of all the great tools and resources that I am to people. Mm-hmm. And then from the podcast, I was like, if I can commit to doing the podcast, I committed myself. I can commit to doing the podcast and creating this space and time to podcast every Sunday, then I can commit and, focus on writing a book. So that's what I did. Gotcha. I committed to writing that journal. So now the journal's about to come out. I'm like, I can't stop there. I got to get back in the groove. I got to figure out what this is going to look like and make myself ready and available for what is to come.
Right.
So I'm back in the groove because of the podcast, honestly. So thank you, Rodney, for putting me back where I needed to be.
That's dope.
The podcast really lit a fire in me and reminded me of, what I was supposed to be doing and what I love to do and enjoy doing. And I was like, okay. And it showed me a level of commitment. So I'm like, if I can do this for this long and I can stay committed. Commitment is a big piece in entrepreneurship. Staying committed to your vision. And I honestly learned that in my relationship, though, in marriage. I'm like, dude, I had to get committed to myself and then I had to get committed to him. And now it's just flowing over into everything. I realized I just have to commit to it. If I can commit to it, I can see it through.
You clock in on it. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. A lot of us don't commit. We don't dedicate ourselves to that project. We still going back and forth. So I am committed to the current vision of staying consistent, developing what I can, doing what I love, and watching it take off. But I feel like if I'm going to release this, I might as well just keep going with the flow and let it grow.
You got to keep the momentum.
The momentum, that's a big word. That's a big word.
It is. It's a very big word. Yeah, sometimes hard to do too.
So what's the hardest part for you on this journey?
For me, the hardest part of entrepreneurship is probably balance. And when I say balance, just, coming in my, specific situation, more so wearing the hats, the multiple hats that I have to wear on a daily basis. What they didn't tell me in entrepreneurship in school and degrees and stuff either is balance. They never talked about balance. They never talked about your everyday life. They never talked about, hey, what if, it takes a special person, it takes a person with character to be a boss and still have a boss. Those are two different hats. You know what I'm saying? You clock out and you turn into you're the boss. Mm-hmm. But when you clock in, now you have to do what somebody else is telling you to do. You have to work on their time. Doing both of that at the same time it humbles you, and it's a mental thing. And I really feel like it strengthens you. and it sharpens you.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you can't lead unless you serve. So, I feel like that serving portion of it, is what they don't teach. What do you do when you're building entrepreneurship, but the bills are still coming in?
Mm-hmm.
Bills never stop. You still got to go get a 9 to 5, but you got this whole passion and this dream over here as well. I feel like they don't teach that portion enough, and I feel like I feel like a lot of like motivational videos and memes you may see, I feel like a lot of it is not realistic. To be honest with you, a lot of it is really like I get it. Jump without a parachute. God's gonna catch you. I'm no serious. I'm for real though. You see them all the time. You know what I'm saying? And
I gotta pause you. So that's the same way as telling everybody to go out and be an entrepreneur. All right, so go ahead, press play.
Okay, right. So it's like, and I feel like that's just a tad bit misleading. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody shouldn't quit their job to go. Everybody should. Now, are there stories where people they leaped and they made it and they won? Yes, kudos to them. But I feel like this isn't talked about enough in a real setting to say that's still not for everybody. You don't do that, because sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes a lot of people, they have the right meaning of doing it, but they're doing it for the wrong thing. Sometimes people are leaping for their hobbies and not their passions. So when they leap and then they're broke at the end of the day, because you know what I'm saying? First of all, you ran and you saw a bunch of these memes and you heard a couple songs on the radio, made you feel good. So now you jump. So I feel like I just feel like these more real conversations have to be had as far as that. I feel like it's a lot of misleading with good intention, but I feel like there's a lot of misleading advice going on social media, which is such a powerful thing.
I agree. I 1,000% agree with you. But just speaking from the person, like I still work full time, in addition to momming, in addition to side hustling, in addition to still building the business. You're right. It is empowering to take that hat off and switch to this part. Take that. I told somebody I'm about to change clothes 6 different times today. They say why? I say because I got to go to 6 different roles. So I got to show up in 6 different outfits. She's like, you really got to change clothes? I'm like, well, I got to go do this photo shoot with you. Then I got to go show up here. Then I got to go be a cheerleading coach after that. So that requires something. She like, you really, I probably just keep the same shirt on, but I'm going to keep switching these pants because each role requires something different of me.
Correct.
So to even be honest, in this week, I had to take the day off of my full-time job because I'm so routine to waking up, doing what I need to do for myself, and going to work. But when I go to work for somebody else's company. After work, I work on my company. By the time I get to my company, I'm exhausted. So this week, I was like, you know what? I hope nobody from work listening. I'll be taking a day off, but I'll be taking a day off. I really went in and I took the day off. So then there was no tax or no strings. And I was like, I'm going to handle my business because I realized that I'm so programmed to just waking up and working for this company. So finding balance in that area and realizing that those are the things that you need to do. And that was something I realized I had to do because otherwise I'm going to keep waking up and working for this company and not building my own. And it keeps getting pushed to the side when reality is they're paying me to use the skill set that my company is based off of.
Gotcha.
So my job actually continues to groom the skills that I have. And I really could just be out there. You get what I'm saying? It's really interesting.
I understand. Yeah.
That was another one that I was like, thank you, Lord, for this position, because I realized the tools that I do have, the resources and my ability so that I can continue to build this company.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. So just like you're saying, though, that balance piece is essential, recognizing when and breaking out of that routine. It's okay to take the day off if you're working. You don't just have to leave. Like they say, use that 9 to 5 to fund your dream.
Yeah. Take the stairs.
I asked this week, can somebody please point me in the direction of a what is it? A one night success, an overnight success.
Overnight success. I don't know where that's at.
You got one?
Oh, hey, let me know. I purchased 2.
I need to know. We're that one overnight
know
success. If somebody know an overnight success, you're listening right now, please direct me to that person.
Show me.
But I think I struggled with that. I thought it was supposed to come so easy. I thought it was supposed to be overnight. And I think we kind of talked about that. Yeah. But I sat there and realized, I'm like, it didn't happen for anybody overnight. You genuinely have to work at this. And sometimes it means not stopping.
Well, some people be 10 years. Some people be 10 years in and you've never heard of them. You know what I'm saying? You never heard of them, and they be 10 years in, and you had no idea that they've been working for 10 years behind the scenes. You never heard of them, but all you see is their win.
Yeah.
So now in your mindset, you're like, oh, damn, where he come from? I could do that too. But you have no idea. You don't know the story. You don't know the backlog of it. You don't know that he's been busting his behind for the last 10 years trying to get here. So, you know, again, that's going back to just that misleading, that misleading concept on social media and just, overall.
But I think it was before social media, to be honest with you.
You think so?
I think it was.
You're right.
I think it's something that we're raised in. We just think these people got there. Nobody talks about the work that it takes to get there. So that's why we're having this conversation, because we didn't know. Now we in it and we like, why ain't nobody tell me this?
What? Why ain't nobody tell me this? Yeah.
Why ain't nobody tell me? Why am I having to figure this out? Why isn't this a common conversation?
I think, well, I have a perspective on that answer though.
Answer it, please.
So I have a perspective of, and I can only speak for like just our culture in general. Yeah, I feel like a lot of it is a crab in a barrel mentality. And I feel like sometimes a lot of it is like we ask, like, why didn't nobody tell me this? Or why did I know this information? And I feel like the whole reason why we're having this conversation is because I feel like a lot of people don't share information. I'm not saying all information should be free. I'm not saying that. But I feel like we will be ahead. We will be a lot more further ahead if we did share just a tad bit more information with our own.
Okay.
You know, hey, I see you doing this. Hey, let me lend some advice. That never really happens with us like that. I'm not saying it never does, but it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen enough.
Okay.
We look at, our culture is we see somebody else winning and we immediately get defensive. We immediately get like, well, he could do this better. You know what I'm saying? We just looking. We looking for something wrong. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Instead of looking like, man, young guy trying, man. Let me just drop some gems on him. You know what I'm saying? Just because if you look at other cultures, they've been doing this for.
They've been pulling each other up. Come on and get in this business with me. Come on and get in this with me. Yeah.
They'll be 10 deep in an apartment just to save money, because they see the future. They see where it's going. They see how it's going to end. I walked in a gas station on Woodward the other day, one of the nicest gas stations, and he got his son behind him. He's like 12 years old. Got him, raising him up, and it's all in the family. It's all in the culture. It's all being spread apart each other. I feel like we just don't do enough of that. And that leads to conversation, and that leads to, I feel like that can sometimes lead to somebody being discouraged or somebody being, because sometimes when you don't have help, you feel alone. You feel alone, like, nobody's answering my questions, or I've reached out and say, hey, you got some advice on this, but because you're not willing to help, you just see me as a threat because I'm in your same field. Now is this now instead of more unity, which we need. That's how I feel about just that question of why didn't nobody tell me this. I feel like that question would be asked a lot less if we as a culture shared more with each other.
Why the threat piece?
What you mean?
Like, why do people look at each other in our culture as a threat?
That's a good question. I don't know why, because that's not my mindset. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why it's such a bad thing for more than one person to win or more than one person to be successful. I don't know why that's such a hard thing for us to accomplish and I don't know why I can't sit next to my brother or my sister and we all win. I give them a handshake, they give us a handshake, and I don't know why it has to be like my brand's better than yours. I don't I don't know why it has to be like that, but
because everybody's brand is built for somebody specifically.
Specific.
Like you can sell out to everybody. Jordan, in a sense, did, but then there were still some people who just didn't wear Jordans don't know the numbers or the trends of Jordan and would rather just go buy the whack Jordans. In my perspective, that's what we would call them. I'm sorry, but not the popular ones. I had the popular ones. Not these days. I don't know what they are, but so I wouldn't know what's really called them. But
yeah, I got you.
Some of us are not keeping up with when this shoe drop. Because right now I don't know no more, y'all. I'm sorry. I can't keep up with the raffle and the putting my name. If I can't go in the store and get it, it ain't for me. So let me tell you, your brand, if it ain't at the store, I'm not getting it.
You're that type. Yeah.
So in that sense, there's an audience for everyone. And that's the way I'm looking at my experience. And I have to say, I did go through that. Like, I'm not that girl who just fakes. I can't. Like I'm
can't.
Just
me neither. I can't.
And when I can't live a falsified lifestyle. So I'm not going to be robbing Peter to pay Paul, or I'm not gonna be broke in my shoes not gonna cost more than the money that's in my pocket. That's not me. Like, I can't do that.
Now you did. Now I did. It took growth for me. I was that guy. I was that dude for a long time, and it was really just when it boiled down to it, and I started learning myself and get to know who Torrean is. It was really just insecurity at the end of the day. Just not being happy. Me still not dealing with certain things that I should have dealt with a long time ago in my past. That's just still creeping up, and I just kind of kept sweeping it on the rug. And it really boiled down to insecurity. So I was that guy. Now I look at it and just, it's like how you feel now is how I feel now. Just looking back at it. Now sometimes it's funny because I laugh. I talk to my wife all about like how much just dumb stuff I used to do just to be cool. You remember back in the day when Star Theater was popping. When it first opened, had the vendor, you had all the games in the back. Everybody went there on the weekend. I would save up my money just to buy Jordan, just to go to Star Theater to walk around the arcades. I didn't have enough money for popcorn. I didn't have enough money for nothing. I never watched a movie. None of my homies did. That was what it was for me. You know what I'm saying? At that time, because I was trying to keep up with the Joneses. You know what I'm saying? And then it was the lack of insecurity with how I was raised, and my parents didn't have all the cool things like their parents did. So I'm trying to keep up. And I look back at that stuff, man, and I just be like, that was dumb. Why did I?
All right,
like,
let's see. How old were you?
Man, oh no, I was like young. Yeah. I went through the stage between I'm saying like 18 to maybe 25. I would say I went through that stunting stage.
I was doing it like in high school, but I was my mama's kid, and I still had money though because I was going to work, and she made me pay for my own shoes, or like she went half with me on my shoes. She didn't buy them because I was a sneaker. Or I had brothers too that was older than me. I think about it, they bought a lot of my shoes.
Gotcha.
But what I was saying,
my brothers ain't buy me nothing.
Don't break up your trauma.
My brothers ain't buy me nothing. Go ahead.
But what I was saying is, I'm not that falsified woman. I'm not that painted picture woman. So it's like most women right now are on that. So I'm like, why would you want me to coach you? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't fall I don't fall in alignment with what you see yourself as. Like
Gotcha.
you see this glamorous life, and I see this like, girl, I'm about to be comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'll put makeup on. I enjoy it, you know, but I don't feel like I have to have it to walk out the house. I don't know how to apply it to walk out the house, to be honest with you.
Gotcha.
So I can't coach you on that. But I
Right.
could. But, but
Right.
so that getting started, that was a concern for me. So just think about the different things that are coming at you and just having to overcome. I think that's where we were at in this. Yeah, and that knowing that audience that is for you.
Knowing that audience that's for you.
Yeah, you have to know what your niche is, like, right? In your business plan, you have to know who you're servicing, your demographic.
Another thing that I did not learn, I'll take that back. I learned about it in school. I learned about target market. I was just hard headed. I felt like I was gonna come out and I was just gonna be this brand. I don't need no target market. I'm gonna sell to everybody. Everybody gonna buy my stuff from young till to older, all races, all nationalities. And it wasn't until I had to go back to the drawing board that I realized how important your niche and finding your target market is. And it's extremely, because what that does is once you find that target market, then you can build your brand, your marketing, your commercial, your advertising. You can gear it directly towards them. So then it becomes a tunnel straight to them, and you don't have to worry about, then we had, I was listening to some interviewer on YouTube, and they were talking about the price of clothing. And, somebody was like, well, how do you convince, people who say, hey, your stuff is, why are you selling this at this price? And he had a simple answer. He said, if you think that my clothes are too expensive, you're not the person I want to sell to. Mm-hmm. It was simple. It's nothing personal. It's just, you're not my client. You're not my customer then.
Clarifying your target market. And it's not so much a value thing. It's knowing who you're selling to.
Who you talking? Yep.
And I guess you can tie it back to knowing your value, but if you design this for this particular person, then you're setting it in that price range.
You're right, that price range. Yep.
So for those of you who may be starting in the entrepreneur or building a brand or, developing a business, definitely tap into a business plan, tap into your niche, tap into your target market. I wrote a business plan. I'll admit, I wrote it. I didn't follow it. And that might be part of the problem. I wrote it to pass the darn class.
Gotcha.
So now
what made you not follow it?
Because I wrote it to pass the class. I and that's probably why I quit in the beginning, because I wasn't 1,000% confident in what I was out to do. Gotcha. I had the discouragement of the clients. I wasn't clear. And I think now I'm finally clear. And that's why I'm in that redefining moment. I'm clear and I know what I want to do.
Yeah.
There is a lot in what I want to do, but I've figured out the different avenues in which I can do it. And the type of business that I'm building does allow me to do it. But that took me about 4 or 5 years to get here. And no, I'm not a famous growing person, but I'm definitely marking things off of my checklist or my goal list. And it's personal. The book was personal. And when I told that to somebody, they were like, what? You didn't write it for us? Honestly, when I wrote it the first time, I did. I wrote it the first time. I wrote it for somebody. But then when I didn't write it and give it to anybody. I just wrote it, right? So I wrote it with the intent that it would be used for my clients. Right. When I wrote it this second time, I wrote it so that I can say, I did it. But I did it with confidence. And right now where we're in the nitpicking process for me to be at peace. The book is done. Everything is done. It's been printed multiple times at this point. I'm nitpicking till I'm at peace. Because we're not going to put nothing out with my name on it until I'm at peace.
As you should. Yes.
I realize it's the minor details. So I think that has a lot to do with entrepreneurship. I think you got to have peace in what you're pushing out to people. Like if you're not positive or confident about it, then you're going to be like me. You're going to stop. Is. Yeah, you're going to be like, you're going to stop. You have no reason to keep going.
Who's going to believe in your brand if you don't? Nobody. You get the respect that you put on your brand yourself. People respect how you respect your brand. That's how I see it. If you don't respect your brand the way that nobody else is, you don't come with confidence, who else
I agree with you, but why did it take us so long to get to that point?
Because more conversations like this need to be had.
So was that easy for you to walk into it confidently?
No, because I battled, and I was kind of thinking this while you was talking. It wasn't easy for me in the beginning because I battled a lot again with comparison. So with comparison, that goes with I had to get used to everybody not liking my stuff.
Okay.
That part bothered me a lot. Again, it bothered me because I didn't have a target market. So a lot of my problems were self-inflicted in just simple lack of research, lack of knowledge, and just so no, it was not easy, but it became a lot easier. And once I figured out my target market and once I figured out who I was going after, that's what brought on confidence. So now I can say my price with confidence, and I'm okay if you say no.
Okay.
I wasn't always like that. Now it's like, yes, how much is hoodie? It's 100 with confidence, straight. That's what it is. And hey, it's hey, okay, cool, purchase. Oh, that's a little out my price range. I respect that. It was a long time for me to get to the I respect that. Because in my mind, I'm like, it's hot.
Why not buy?
What's up? You know what I'm saying? So when I realized that the person who denies your product isn't your client, that helped my confidence.
Wait, stay right there. We got to run that back. The person who denies your product is not your client or your customer.
Correct.
The person who denies your product or service is not your client. All right, I got it. I had to put that in my notebook. That was good. That was good because we don't think about it that way. We want everybody to accept us. It's kind of like a kid being on the playground. You want everybody to be your friends. You want everybody to love your stuff, but that's not the reality of this. There is a certain market that is out there for you, and that is the market you need to go after. Don't chase everybody.
Don't chase everybody.
I didn't have that.
You ain't gonna catch it.
And I ain't gonna say I wasn't chasing. I wasn't chasing everybody, but I felt like, hey, y'all want me. Y'all need me. I'm gonna help y'all.
That's how, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, these cold. I know y'all see these. Jay just came out, these match. Come on. But that ain't how it is. That ain't how it is at all.
You're called to service different people. All of us have unique gifts and purposes, and we're on this earth, honestly, all working together. When one person is not in alignment, we're kind of off. Let's be real. But whether it's in entrepreneurship or working for somebody, and entrepreneurship is not for everybody. There was a season, and I honestly I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if I'm ever going to take off full-time entrepreneurship because I like getting my consistent check.
Consistent check. Yeah, no doubt.
I honestly don't mind working for somebody. I have different skills and sets that allow me to have the space of an entrepreneur, but I'm okay with working with somebody, working for somebody, or working with somebody. I'm not against that.
I wouldn't say I'm against it. I'm okay with it. But it's just that side of me that, is going to eventually push me to 100% entrepreneurship. Like it's tugging, and like I'm okay with it. And I 100% agree with you that entrepreneur is not for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's nothing wrong with 9 to 5 ever. Stop letting social media tell you that it is. It's not. It's nothing wrong with 9 to 5, especially if it's bringing your paper and it's taking care of your kids and your family. By all means, it's just for me personally. I never saw my life, even back to a little kid. I never saw my life designed to work for someone else.
See, and I don't know what I saw. I saw me traveling and doing what I do now. So I am blessed to actually live my dream. And I'm probably going to sound really conflicted in this because I guess I'm in a conflicted space. I feel like I'm going to be pushed in that space. It's not like I'm like, I got to do this. Because I told somebody recently, I'm like, you know what? It's kind of easy to work for somebody else and mess up their stuff. But if I mess up my own stuff, I'm like,
it's all on you.
I'm killing myself. I'm hurt. Yep. Like,
it's all you.
I got business trauma. So I'm overcoming that. But right now the economy is not paying enough. So you make more doing your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's really the push. Like, and then the work that I do, again, I've learned that I can make more doing it on my own. I just happen to love what I do full time. So that's what keeps me grounded there. I keep trying to leave him. Jesus keeps saying, no, hang on out here a little longer.
Do what he do. Hey, do what he tell you to do. It ain't time, you know.
So what's your advice to an entrepreneur right now trying to find their way?
My number one advice is be prepared. I can't stress that enough. You know, with your licensing, your trademarks, your copyrights, your LLCs, preparation could really be life or death in your brand, because you know, sometimes, let's just say, hey, you know, you're a once in a lifetime opportunity pops up and say, hey, somebody wants to, you know, just in fashion in general, somebody, hey, Drake is in town. He want to rock somebody. He want to rock somebody from Detroit clothing line. You first in line. But if you not prepared, you know, for that opportunity, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So I would stress to any entrepreneur, be prepared for the opportunity, be ready for the opportunity, do your research, please. Google is for a reason. Know your craft. That's another big thing. Know your craft, because there are people who really, you're not the only person in your craft. And you have to understand that. And there's people out there that study, and there's people out there that are hungry. There's people out there that are about their business that will talk to you in circles about your own craft. So know your craft. And before you do anything, before you put a product on the shelf, before you put a product on a website, have everything in order. Have your ducks in a row. I've seen a lot of companies. I've seen a couple, you know, that started an entire brand, and you know, like one of my side hustles is graphic design, logos, websites. I've seen a lot of customers come get a logo, boom. I always ask the question, hey, you did this, hey, you did that, do a checklist, and they come back like, hey, yeah, I gotta change my logo, because they never even searched the name. They never, you know what I'm saying, or I had one where they was about to get sued. You know, so it's a lot that goes into, you know, branding, and sometimes, you know, you have to do a year or 2 years of just straight homework before you even see a product. Yeah, you have to. It's necessary. It's very necessary. That would be my number one advice for anybody, entrepreneur. Do your research and know what you're doing. Know what you're doing inside and out.
I would say commit to the process. Commit to the process. Commit to the commit to the process. Commit to learning, like you said. Having your vision written down and knowing what you're committing to. What do you want to see in doing this? What are the results you're looking for? Y'all heard me already. I'm big on the results piece. And when I wasn't getting the results, I wasn't feeling like a successful person. Right now, I probably feel successful because I finally got a book in my hand. I'm nitpicking, but it's coming. That's probably why I'm feeling like this. I got results.
You got to see it, yeah.
I got results finally of my hard work. And like I said, the podcast was really a result-driven thing for me. Like, I'm seeing it. I'm hearing people talk about it. And I don't even care if it's just one person who's listening. That one person, it made a difference in them. So, and that's what it's all about for me. So committing to it. And that's what I've been able to do. And yeah. Other than that, Torrean, tell them where to find you, where to shop with this amazing, comfy brand. Y'all, I love this sweater. My husband probably tired of me wearing it, but it's so warm, man. I love it.
You can find me on Instagram, The Ego Brand, spelled the EIGO brand. And actually, my website is theegobrand.com. Those are the two places I'm there the most.
All right. You always can find me at Life Coach Christian. If you are in the Detroit area, you can meet me at the Roller K. You can meet Torrean at the Roller K too On November 28th, we are hosting, what are we hosting? The Friends Who Give pop-up shop. I had to think about it. It is a pop-up shop. The Friends Who Give is a community initiative I started this year. You've heard me talk about it maybe a couple podcasts ago, where I got some friends together. We put some money in the pot and we gave back to youth. And now we are working on an end of the year scholarship. And I'm honestly, the more I think about it, I think it's going to be 2 scholarships. I think I'm going to do a I Believe scholarship for someone who may not qualify for most scholarships. And then a leadership scholarship, for someone we know who's, exceeding and leading. But I'm all about giving that person who wasn't given a chance. So I got to do that I Believe scholarship. That's really what I came up with. So again, November 28th, I'll have 20 amazing vendors. I'm leaking them this week. You can follow me on Instagram at Life Coach Christian, on Facebook as Life Coach Christian. Where else am I at? If you know me personally, you know where to find me.
Right.
Other than that, yes, meet us at the Rollercade. It's in Southwest Detroit. The Rollercade is a somewhat historic site in my life. I don't know if it's been labeled historic here, but it is a historic site, and I'm excited to connect with my friends and host this pop-up shop to raise money for these young people and pour it back into our community. Other than that, you all, thank you for hanging out in the Transparency Place. I will be back next week. Maybe I'll bring another vendor with me, and we can talk about their business and brand. We will catch you next week. T, hang out here for me for a second. Rodney, take us out.
Hi, I'm Blaine, host of Live with Blaine J, a podcast that airs right here on Realish Radio. Every week, I connect you to all the people, brands, and businesses you need to know about. I'm gearing up for season 2, and I can't wait to talk to you. So keep your notifications locked right here to Realish Radio.
See the struggle to get mine. Hustle from the bottom, the customer don't lie. 365 is in days and the phone shine. That's until I die, so whenever I shine.